4Chicks No Scripts. My name is Jessica. I'm here with Bree, Jazzy, and Ava. We're here on the Fairfield campus for Solano Community College in the TV studio, and today we're going to be talking about our experiences during COVID. And our first segment is going to be our first reactions and what it was like for us in the beginning. Jazzy, you want to start us off?
Well, my initial reaction to COVID is I actually took a day off, like the day before we got the email. And anyways, I got the email from my mom where she told me, and she was like, Jazzy, you have 2 weeks off. I was like, oh my gosh, like I just missed a day and now like I have the whole week off. Next thing you know it, like I didn't expect that I was gonna miss out on my whole 7th grade year because that's when COVID started for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just like a big culture shock to me. And I was like, oh, I wonder why we get 2 weeks off. And then next thing you know it, the 3rd week comes around and it's like, oh, there's like a deadly virus going on. Like, oh, like it's like a good thing and a bad thing at the same time for my first initial reaction of it.
Ava?
I was actually at the hairdressers, and so I was getting my hair dyed a bright, vibrant purple. And so I was so excited. I was just sitting down and we were talking, and I heard someone from like across the way. It wasn't my hairdresser, but it was one of her friends. And she said, oh, look at that. My kids get 2 weeks off of school. And I said, is that for everyone in the district? And she said, yes, honey, it is. I was about to start crying. I was like, no one's going to see my hair. And so I was very heartbroken at that. But I thought, oh, this is nice. 2 weeks off, whatever. But I think that's the only part that I remember for the start of it.
That's fair, yeah.
I feel like it's funny because I would say like when I first got the announcement, like I wasn't at school either. Because like so far 3 of us weren't at school, but like I was like on my way to school and I had just gotten kind of over like a small ACL injury. So I was like coming back from the doctors. I had my little like papers saying I'm like all clear to go back to soccer season because we're like halfway through. So I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna play the last month of soccer season. Like I was so excited, and like as we're driving to school like from the doctors, we pulled up and I was like walking to the office and I heard the like announcement on like they like announced on the loudspeakers that like we had 2 weeks off and like school's ending early. And so I got to the office to get my papers and I'm asking them like what they're talking about. And so I called my mom to like, oh, stay. And they just told me like, oh, just you guys have 2 weeks off. And I was like asking like, why do we have 2 weeks off like randomly? And they were like, oh, like we don't know yet. And I was like, what do you mean like we don't know yet? Like you're just giving us a random break, like in the like I didn't even remember what month it was, like March or something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's no reason for a break. Like spring break is coming up later. So I was like, okay. So I just went back to the car and I remember like I was so excited we had no school, but like I was first like so heartbroken that like I couldn't play sports anymore because I'm like this season had like a month or something. So I'm like like almost like done. Like I'm not gonna be able to play anymore. It's like my initial like reaction was like more sad than excited because I like sports are my everything, and so I was like that I finally got cleared and now like can't play anymore.
That sucks so much.
Yeah.
I wasn't, oh shoot, where was I? I was at school. I guess I'm the only one that was at school, but it was, I don't know if you guys ever watched it, but I came from a really small town before I moved here, and we did those like little CNN 10-minute videos in the beginning. You guys watched those too? And we were seeing everywhere, like all over it was about this COVID virus, this something that was going on. All us kids were like, I'm hearing about 2 weeks off. Everyone's getting 2 weeks off. And all my teachers were like, no, it's not us, we're fine. And then I remember so vividly, Friday the 13th, March 2020, everyone says the 13th was cursed. I thought it was an amazing day. I was so happy because they were like, all right, guys, you're leaving for the day. No more coming back for 2 weeks. And we were like, yes, no school for 2 weeks. Let's do this. And we were so excited that my friends who went to school in the town right next door, they came over for a sleepover for the weekend, and we did like 2 to 3 day sleepovers. That was our usual thing. They ended up staying for 5 days. It was the best time of my life. We literally just hung out for 5 days straight. The only sad thing is that was like the last time I saw them before, because around this time I was about to move away, and we all knew I was about to move. But I wanted to stay and finish out my 7th grade year because I'd grown up with all these kids from like 1st grade to 7th grade. So I ended up my dad had already moved to LA. He was living there, so we were trying to get the house sold and do all that because with his job you have like 30 days to move basically. Like you get it, you're gone. It was fun though. It was nice to see them, and then after that it was like 3 months of nothing, which was so crazy because who thinks after 2 weeks of off
Yeah.
from school you're just not going to see your friends for 3 months?
Yeah.
I remember so vividly, me and my friends getting together 2 days before I left because we were like, we need to have a sleepover, begging our parents, like, we're fine, we'll quarantine for 2 weeks before, we won't get sick. We didn't get sick. We were safe. We had a really big fence around our property because we had a big property. And so we stayed within those walls of the fence. We had a great time. It was so much fun.
Well, that was nice because, like, dude, when I started COVID and like everyone else in like my friend group, our parents were like strict. At least mine and theirs, they were super strict on, you're gonna stay at home, you're gonna be not like quarantined, but like I want you to stay home in our house, we're not gonna go out and see your friends. So I just felt like my social life was just through a phone or a TV or a screen, to where we just call on Zoom, call on FaceTime like all the time. And like I didn't even get to see my friends from like since that last day of school that I went. And so like I kind of regretted not like going in a sense. And so like I didn't see them all the way till like start of 8th probably, like our new year, and that's it.
We definitely learned how to talk through phones a lot more because
yeah.
me and my friend, we had Snapchat for sure, but we didn't start using it religiously until we all got locked down and we weren't allowed out of our house. I remember too, everyone was obsessed with Fortnite at the time. I will say I was one of those kids. I was good too. We would do all-nighters of Fortnite. We literally played Fortnite from 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning. It was insane, and yeah.
That was me, but like with Among Us or Roblox.
Yeah.
Like the Among Us, like it was so crazy, and we would go on like Discord calls as well.
Yes,
and, like,
that's when I got a
people
Discord.
would join us too, and then like we would all play that, and then next like, you guys want to play Roblox? And I was like, yeah, sure. But we were just like little middle school kids, just like staying up late, even though it's like on a school night or something.
Yeah.
I remember even like my cousin would come over every once in a while, and so we'd quarantine and everything. But I remember I don't know how my brother did it. He's the tech person in our family, and so he like somehow got his Among Us to go on the TV screen, and he could play it on the Xbox.
Oh,
so
wow.
you have to like, we'd like go to separate corners of the room, and like we'd cover ourselves with blankets and like play Among Us so that way no one could see his screen if he was the imposter. I remember even like on a Zoom call too, they were playing it, and I was trying so hard not to watch them while I was on the Zoom call. I gave in.
That game was so fun.
That's so fair. It was so
fun.
much fun. I think even during high school, near the ending years, my friends and I would be sitting in English. We're like, so we're done. You want to play Among Us? We played so much junior year. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is a good time for us to move on to our next segment, which is going to be what our life was like when we started online school. So around 8th grade for all of us. Yeah. So what it was like for Zoom and what different types of online school we did. So Ava, you want to start us off with what you did?
Sure. So it was weird because I went to Kairos. Are we allowed to name names on this show?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I went to Kairos Public Schools, and so it was a little bit different for us. I think, according to an article I read on the Reporter, we were one of the first ones, like first schools in Solano County to like come back. I think in terms of online school, I'm not positive about that, but we were the first ones to physically be on campus. And so I think it was like end of 7th grade year, start of 8th grade year. And I remember it was weird because honestly, online school was a blur. So I will tell you about the physical part, because I remember when we first came back, I think in that same article by the Reporter, 78% of us went back to in-person and 22% of us stayed online on Zoom. So they had like these big TVs in our classrooms, and so they'd have the Zoom call, and they'd have like a shared screen with the Zoom call students, so that way they could like show them and instruct them and everything. But once our 30 minutes was up of our class period, then the teachers would rotate, and they'd take like a crate of stuff with them, and then to like help with the contamination. And then later we eventually got to, disinfecting in between classes and like having barriers up, but we were just sitting there all day long. It felt the same as Zoom, but like in person.
When did you come back to in person?
I think it was like end of 7th grade, start of 8th grade year.
That's early. Wow.
It was crazy. But we like layered up, we masked up, So
You were safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Disinfected everything. It smelled like Clorox 24/7. It
Oof.
was so bad.
That was a smell you will never forget after that time.
I feel like I didn't really have like an end of my 7th grade because we didn't do like Zoom. Like we had a few assignments, but since it was like such a sudden thing, like they didn't expect everyone to have like computers or stuff. So, like I said, there was like a few assignments I remember like doing on the Google Classroom things. Like teachers like, oh here, like do these things, but it was like I feel like it ended like very quickly. It was like there wasn't much to that. Like I got to the online part like once we got to 8th grade. Like that's when I was like
Yeah.
doing like more like Zoom meetings and like online actual like online school.
How was it for you though?
I don't know, it was weird. In the very start, I took like a trip to Hawaii. Like my family reunion was in Hawaii, so I went to Hawaii.
Okay.
And I was there for a long time. And like there's a time difference there.
Mhm.
So I'd have to wake up at like 5 a.m. for the 8 a.m. class because there's like the
Oh.
3-hour difference. And so like I'm in my room doing like PE at 5 a.m. and my like aunts would like come and yell at me because like they're downstairs trying to sleep and I'm doing jumping jacks in the room. And so I was like trying to be quiet, but like I was always like a good student. Like I was trying to do it. Like I wasn't trying to fake it. And I mean, but even for PE, like there wasn't much you could do. Like it was more like static things. Like stretching took up half your PE because it was like there's not much I can do. Like
Yeah.
I can't run in a circle. Like jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups. Like other than that, we weren't doing that much. And then my other classes, since it was like so early, like 5 a.m., I would just like wake up and join the call and then go back to sleep. And I remember sometimes I'd like wake up to like my teacher saying something because I'm the last one in the class because the class has ended. Everyone like leaves the Zoom call and I'm like still in the Zoom call because I'm asleep. And I was like, I would get so embarrassed, but luckily like I'd always have my camera off and my microphone off, and I would just go back to sleep.
No,
That's
I
so
feel
fair.
you because like you would wake up and then like log on to the call and like saying I would fall back asleep and then when I wake up the professor will be there and I'm like, oh okay. But honestly, like with online school, it's so like hard to stay motivated sometimes because like
Oh, yeah.
it just came like that's a big transition to go like in person for my whole life, and then everything I'm being learned through is through a screen. And so I read an article where 59% of like teens were being affected and like they couldn't focus or stay motivated in classes, and like honestly same, but I was still at the top of like my class and I was still trying to stay focused. And what was weird was like we had National Honor Society and I literally got my certificate like PDF filed to me. I was like,
Oh my goodness.
okay. And it's just like hard to adjust and like wow, I could have been doing this like in person. No, I don't get to get that experience anymore.
Yeah. I had a very similar experience to you. Like end of 7th grade, it just didn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
My Zoom was like optional. My mom made me go to it once, and then she was like, "Oh, there's 3 people. Yeah, just leave it. You don't. That doesn't matter." She taught me a few things on her own because I'm very into investing in my own. So like they taught us a little bit of like real life skills, which was fun. But we never really did any more of the math, science, history because there was no point. I mean, it was 7th grade too. So like kids go to school, but still. It didn't really matter for us back then, especially since it was near the end of the year. But then my start of the 8th grade year, we had just moved to LA and we wanted to, because it was supposed to be over by then. It was supposed to be like 6 months at most. And so we were thinking, me and my brother were going to do a hybrid school. We were going to, what was it? Like 2 or 3 days in a classroom, the rest would be online, and then we'd get season passes to Disneyland, and we'd do it because we were just going to be in LA for a year. So we were like, okay, we're going to do it up, we're going to do all this, and then Disney closed.
Oh.
And we were like, oh no, that sucks for all of us. So we found this online school called Dexter, which was based out of Texas. So I had to do like what you did when you were in Hawaii. They had 9 a.m. classes. No classes started before 9 a.m. I'm waking up at 7 a.m. for my math class. I would turn it on, but it was through this specific program that they had on their website where it was just the video, like them live streaming, like kind of like a Twitch where there was a chat, but then you would be off, like no cameras on unless they made a random Zoom or something for extra help. I would turn it on, pass out. My dad would come in before work and be like, wake up, dude, wake up. You need to be in class. I was like, oh, you're right. I probably should. It was interesting though, because it was a lot of block scheduling like we do now in college. It was like 9 a.m. to this time, you do this to this. So one day I'd have 1 class, the other days I'd have like 3. It was really good for me because I like that type of structure more than the rotating from class to class. But it was still tough because I went from like top of my class to not knowing how to do math anymore because I couldn't get that in-person help. It was so weird. And I was, at the time, I'm taking half my classes outside because I'm at the time, my dad likes to call it our, not to offend anyone, our white trash era. We love it. We had a great time, but we were in a trailer park for a year because it was COVID and it's kind of hard to get a house during COVID, especially in LA. So we were just living in our RV, which was amazing. I loved it. It was so it was so nice being so close to the family. But every once in a while, you're taking classes outside on the park bench or something, or picnic table. It was fun, but definitely glad we're
One
not
of
doing
the
that.
most memorable things that I remember from online classes is I remember I was in a band class and
What?
it was so bad. I played the flute and I was like fairly good at playing the flute. However, we would join a call. He'd give us like the song that we have to play and like he would conduct it online, and so everyone is playing and it just sounded so bad. Like we were just middle schoolers trying to play and like someone's off beat, or you can hear like a clarinet like squeak and like someone's on a trumpet, and like at one point I wasn't even playing because it just sounded so bad.
I can imagine
like,
like people's
mhm.
stuff lagging.
Mhm,
Like if
yeah,
you're maybe like
yes,
someone's
yeah,
siblings like
mhm.
screaming in the
It was-
background.
If your
It
screen
was
is 1
not
second
good,
later, you're just so
yeah,
off.
that's like my key memory from just like online class because it was just so funny to me. And like I don't know, I was just
I don't know if it ever happened to you guys, but did your guys' like teachers ever get kicked out?
Yes.
'Cause
Oh
mine,
my
like-
god, that
and
was
it was
hilarious.
Like, it was like make a random student like the like main person, and I remember like one time my English teacher got like kicked out, and so the kid that became like the main person, whatever, he like put an Among Us like code in the thing. So like we all joined, but when she like joined back, she could see it in the chat, like all of us talking about it. But it was like fun because like even when she joined, we were all still in the game, so we just stayed in it. We had like this whole like huge game of like so many of us from like the class like in this one Among Us game.
I love that. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Every once in a while, like they get kicked out, and then there was at the school that we were at, you took placement tests to get placed. So then you weren't in a grade. It was like you're in this level of math, you're in this level of this. So whenever they get kicked out, whoever was oldest would usually take over and be like, "All right, guys, I got you. This is what we're gonna do," and he'd just start talking gibberish. We're all in the corner like, I'm over here like 11 years old. What are you talking about, bro? I didn't understand.
Did you guys ever do breakout rooms?
Yes.
I
Oh.
hated those. They were so awkward.
I go to a breakout room with 3 people I don't know because we all live across the country from each other, and I'm like, so my name's Jessica, and they're just silent. I'm like, I'm gonna leave.
I did it for like leadership
yeah,
because
same,
like
same.
we had to do like orientation still for like the 7th graders. So we could like on this giant Zoom, and we put in our breakout rooms, and it was like me, my like other leader, and like 3 to 4 like 7th graders, but like they were not interacting at all. So I'm trying to get them to play like these icebreaker games, and their cameras are just off, and I was just like sitting there like, okay, and then like my other leader turned his camera off, so I'm like, bro, so I just turned mine off, and we just sat there for like 20 minutes waiting to get like put back in the main Zoom because they didn't want to play the games.
Yeah. Speaking of orientation, I feel like this is a good time to move on to our 3rd segment, which is going to be coming back to in-person classes, and which for all of us was our freshman year of high school. So why don't we start off with what orientation was like, since we were all at freshman orientation at some point, I hope.
Yeah.
So Bree.
Yeah, actually, our orientation was like I didn't know how a high school orientation like goes, so I didn't think like ours was different. But like now that I've been through high school, I can see that like our orientation was outside, and so I remember we were like on these bleachers like spread out, and they were like trying to talk on a microphone, but it was like not really working. It was like
cutting out.
It was like hard to hear them, and like I said, now that I've seen other ones, like everyone else got an orientation like inside, and they went to like these classrooms and did all this stuff, and like we didn't do that. But like my orientation was still like pretty fun. They let us play like games and stuff, and I think they were like trying to make us like not like touch each other type of games, but because they were like having us pass things with our feet.
Yes.
And so, like it was still fun. Like I didn't think too much of it at the time. Like I just thought like, oh, we're using our feet because it's like making it harder and like stuff. But I feel like it was still fun. It was just like weird because like there were some people like I could recognize some people and I couldn't recognize other people. Like we all had these masks on, and then there's like on the benches there's like all these stickers like, oh, you can sit here, but the next one there's like a sticker, it's like, oh, don't sit here, because it's like they're trying to space this out. And then everywhere you're walking there's like stickers on the floor. It's like, oh, like you need to walk on this side so other people can walk on this side to like make sure there's not like too much traffic going on. And it's like orientation, I think it was just fun to like come back and see everybody, but it was like definitely scary because I didn't have much friends from middle school, and now we're going to high school where it's already supposed to get bigger, but it's like now we've been in our house, so it's felt like even bigger than that. Like it felt like a lot bigger than middle school because, like I said, we've been in our house with just my family. Now I'm going out with like hundreds of people, and so it was like scary, just like the big crowds and like trying to meet new people.
Quick disclaimer for the viewers: Ava, Bree, and I all went to the same high school. Jazzy ended up going to a different one. We all met at here actually.
So at my school, my orientation, well, actually, I didn't go back to school. I went back end of 8th grade because my mom was one of those moms like, oh, you're going to do hybrid. But kind of similar to you, I kind of liked how I went back in person because I actually understood and felt more motivated to like try hard in school. So I did go back in 8th grade. It was so weird because like I went there beginning of 7th, coming back end of 8th. It's like all these like glass fiber like, or not glass fiber, like plaster walls on my desk, and like it was just so hard to like move around without them falling all the time. And it's like I have to move to see like my teacher because he's also like yours, like they're broadcasting like people that are on Zoom, so he's teaching at both times. It's just weird coming back to that. But for high school orientation, I did know a couple like girls because of volleyball, and so like I would just huddle up with them, stay in like our own little group, our own little friend group. And so like we did do like fun little games. Same thing, it was all outdoors. But then actually we went inside a classroom, and then like we did games in the classroom.
Yeah.
But still like social distancing and everything, and like wearing masks, like make sure not to touch each other, hand like sanitizing every time we like enter and exit. And it was just kind of tedious, but kind of like what you said, we came from a setting to where we're always inside, and now like we're going into high school. Like that's a big jump and a transition. But I felt like it wasn't that hard for me because I went to hybrid during my 8th, whereas everyone else, it was like going into high school again.
Did you have a lot of people in your classes during hybrid?
In hybrid, no, it would like only be like 8 people.
I
told my mom, I was like, Mom, you're making me go just to see like 8 random people, and all my friends are like online, literally napping. But like I got good grades from it, and like I just remembered like struggling before. I was like, it's gonna be all worth it. Like it's gonna be fine for me. Like I don't know.
Because I did hybrid, but we didn't have like the little like plaster like or whatever, because there's only like 5 of us, like 5 to 8 in a class, and like so we were just kind of spread out around the class. It was like one person per row, and then like it was like front and then back of the row, so we're like all like super spread out.
That sounds so depressing.
I think it's 'cause, like, for other classes, like instead of the teachers move, the kids do move. So like maybe there's like more kids in this class than this class. So like they required the classes. I guess that's
fair. Yeah.
But the most I went was like only 8 people, and I was just like, man, I would have been at home sleeping
and you
in
can
my
like
bed.
see everyone else's Zoom
Yes,
like on the thing, and I could
like
hear
they don't
them
have their
talking
cameras
on there.
on. Like I'm just like sitting on the desk, like dang.
Like wish that was me.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like one of the classes I took like that, like towards the end of the year, like things got a lot more lenient, and like obviously it was like the same like 7 people like in that class every day. So we ended up being like, I feel like I got really close to those people in that class, like. And so like we're supposed to show like social distance or whatever, but we ended up like we were all like hanging out and stuff because the teacher was like, we've been like here every day, like all of us. If someone has it like by now, we would all had it, so we just kind of like hung out and like it was weird, but I got really close like those few people that were in the class.
Yeah.
Did they do I think they did this like our 8th grade year, but did they do it your freshman year where they did cohorts and everything? Like separated the classes?
No.
Like no?
Cohorts?
Okay. I was just double checking because I know we didn't do it at our school, but I wasn't sure if they did it in high school for you.
No, I
is
don't
it?
think so.
Okay.
I don't. What are cohorts?
Wait, yeah.
I remember it was our 7th grade year, they introduced them, and they were talking about how they basically take our class and they'd split it in half based on like our math classes that we were taking. So all the students who were in IM1 or like taking IM1 in like our 8th grade math,
Yeah.
we would be in one class, and then the ones who were taking normal math would be in another cohort.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Oh,
So
I see.
when you said like bonding with like smaller groups, that's what I thought of.
Mhm.
Was those little cohorts that we were in. We couldn't contact each other at all. We'd be on like different sides of the playground. Like we couldn't talk to each
That
other.
sounds terrible. Oh my gosh.
You know, wait, the one thing when going back is like everyone's wearing a mask. Everyone's like social distancing. But like, have you guys ever been like masked fish?
That's what I was thinking.
So like, you guys obviously know what catfishing is, and so with mask fishing, like you don't see the bottom half, and like I just imagine the person is looking like, oh, this is what your like face looks like, and then they look like completely different.
Yep.
Like when people started to not wear masks at school, I was like, oh my gosh, maybe they need to put it back on, but like no.
It's crazy to think that like it's only half your face. But,
No,
like,
yeah,
you like sometimes you couldn't even recognize a person
Yeah,
like with
yeah.
and without their
Mhm.
mask or like things like that.
I remember in my English year, in my freshman year English class, there was a kid that would sit across from me because we were all in rows, we all wore masks, and there was no more social distancing. At this point, people just did not care.
Yeah.
But this kid was sitting across from me, and I have really bad RBF, and I know it. But when I space out, and you can't see the bottom half of my face, I look mad. I look like I'm going to hurt you. I look like I have some vendetta against you. And this kid is sitting across from me, and I'm like dead staring at him, not even realizing. And he came up to me after like a while, because he started to notice like, oh, she doesn't seem that bad. He came up to me, he was like, hey, so are you mad at me? I was like, I don't even know who you are. No. And he was like, oh, well, you're always like death glaring me. I'm like, dude, I'm smiling right now. What do you mean I'm death glaring you?
Or like the people with like hair that kind of covers the front, because then it like met
Right.
their
Yeah.
mask, and then
Yep.
so it's like you couldn't see anything. Like there's
Or
no.
it's like they wear a hoodie too. Like I can't even.
It was
see.
so creepy whenever someone would wear a hoodie and a mask. You're like, hello.
Or I don't know if it like came a thing in your guys' school, but I feel like it came really popular. It's like we're the black ones.
Yeah.
Like everyone wanted the black
Yeah,
ones.
I
Like no one wanted the
Bro,
blue
I'm
ones.
guilty
So
of that.
bad.
Like
I wore
they just
black.
match more.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Like
yeah.
we started. I feel like that's so crazy to me. Is like we started. Like we had to wear them so often that we would start like matching them to outfits. Like that's
Yep.
like what we were worried about, because it's like we knew we had to wear that every day. So it was like, oh, I'm gonna spend the money to get the ones that match my outfit, because like I have to wear this to school every day. Or like I worked with my aunt for a little bit, because she started like sewing masks, like making like cloth ones. And so we're like doing like making those for businesses and stuff like that. And I had never even heard of a cloth mask before.
Really?
Maybe you
Yeah.
guys had, but like
I
all I
used
knew,
them
all I
myself.
knew was the blue ones, like the ones we got
Really?
doctors, or we had Disney ones we used at the doctors.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But like I had never heard of a cloth one, and she was like getting them because it's like people were having to wear them every single day. That it was like instead of making the trash, like getting disposable ones, like people just like wear these and like wash them and like just keep wearing the same ones.
Yeah, we had a huge pile at my house of fabric ones that you would just pick one for the day, match to your outfit. Most of them were black, but some of them were detailed, and every once in a while, I mostly wear the black ones, especially because we did volleyball. I think all of us did volleyball freshman year, right?
Yeah.
That was, oh my god. I remember coming, because we do conditioning outside at like 6 a.m. for tryouts for 1 hour, and then we'd leave, come back for 3 more hours in the gym. And they were like, you have to wear your masks. You cannot, because you're touching the balls everyone else is touching. You're all so close. You're all high-fiving. You're all doing this. So they were like, you must wear your masks. I remember, but near the end of the season, everyone was like, if it falls below your nose on accident, does anyone really care? So everyone would like sneak away from the ref and go, and then go back.
I remember like pulling it, like I'd go for my serve, I'd like pull my mask more to like get some cool air.
Yes!
Going in there. I really liked it because it would hide my nose piercings, and I'd keep them in, so I would just put my mask here so they wouldn't see it.
For me, it was I couldn't breathe half the time. Like, it's already hard enough. You're making me run sprints, and I can't breathe, y'all. Let me take off the mask.
Even when I did an outdoor sport, because when I went back for 8th grade, I did soccer, and it was outdoors, and I have videos, and we're like wearing masks, and I was like, bro, like, we're running around outside, like the masks were so crazy to me, and like I can't keep it on when I'm sprinting up and down the field, so it's like falling down, and the refs are like constantly, and I was like, oh, can you pull it up? And I was like,
no.
like we're outside, and like soccer, I was like, they should have just like, I mean, I'm glad I got to play, but I was like, at that point, they should have just like not let us play, because soccer was like a contact sport. So it's like, this mask isn't doing anything when I'm like grabbing this girl. So
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
Even for that too, I shout out to all the people who had glasses playing a sport in this time,
Ooh.
because I couldn't breathe and I could not see, because that steam was going straight into my glasses. Half of the time I'd have to like take them off, or I'd have to like try to
remember.
air out, and I could not see. And at the time I did not have any contacts. I thought, I'm so done for. And so I'm very thankful I wasn't there for the conditioning part of it freshman year.
Yeah,
But,
you're lucky you missed
that
that.
was the worst one.
It was so bad. And at the time, my mom, because I was already a very strong swimmer, but we had gotten a pool for the first time. She was like, you guys must go, like, learn the skills, the basics again. I was like, okay. But then I had tryouts from 6 to 7, and then I had swim, and then I come home and then go. No. No. I know what you just did. No. And then I'd go to 3 hours more of volleyball, get home, pass out, and then go back and do it again. And I did that for a week. And then we started regular practice. It was interesting.
What was crazy was like just the decline in athletes in general, because
Oh,
like
yeah.
everyone
yeah.
got so comfortable being home that it was like there was like less people that were interested in sports, less people that wanted to try, or like some athletes just even went down, like they were getting out of shape and so they'd give up, or just like people being out of shape in general. And it was like normally high school is like everyone's peak, like everyone's in
Yeah.
shape, like everyone's, and there's just like this decline in like athleticism, I guess, or like even when I talk to my parents about like sports and stuff, and they're talking about like, I'm like, oh yeah, there was like a junior on JV, and they're like, it's like mind blowing to them, because sports is always like I said, high school you're kind of your peak, so it's like this is supposed to be like an intense level,
Yeah.
and it's like it's even still, I feel like even now
Yeah.
it's like still so low at levels, because there's like either not the numbers or there's like not the athleticism like that there used to be, and I feel
Yeah.
like COVID is a big part of that.
I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those people. I played sports all throughout growing up, and then COVID happened, and I moved, no sports, and then I finally moved to this new town, knew absolutely no one, went onto the school's website, and the first thing that popped up was volleyball tryouts, and I said, me. I had played volleyball once before, but it was back in like elementary school when it's literally you just toss a ball and you hope the other person gets it up and you hope it gets over. So I don't really count that. That was more of a like rec. But
you know what? Like, I'm
yeah.
interested too. When I went back to in person, did you guys ever get COVID, or like? Because when we got back, I eventually got it, and like I had to do the whole week off. But mine wasn't terrible, thank God. But yeah, I was quarantined. I missed like a whole week's worth of school, or like classes and all of that. And then like I eventually got better, but it was just like I went back in person, and now I got sick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that happened to all of my other friends too.
And
That
I feel
happened
like
to me,
when
yeah.
you would get COVID, everyone would like look at you weird. Like if you had a cough or a sneeze,
Oh, yeah.
everyone is like
It was like,
staying away from you. Cause I mean, like I get it, like they don't want it. But then like if you had to take like a week off, I feel like we would notice like, oh, that girl hasn't been here all week, and it's like, oh, she must have COVID, and then she comes back and everyone's like scared of her. But it's like even though
Yeah.
you would do everything like you were supposed to do, it was like people would feel like, oh, if you have COVID, like it doesn't go away. Like they act like anything you touch is just gonna. So it was like. Because I feel like that's one thing too. Like they didn't announce who had it. You would just like notice like, oh, that person's been gone all
Yeah.
week. They must have COVID. Because like, why else would they be gone?
I hated taking the COVID test. Or like, did your teachers ever
Oh my
give you like COVID?
I
like,
had to take it to play
tests?
sports because I played volleyball and basketball.
Yeah,
So like
yeah,
twice a month, they would have us go into the library and someone would stick a cotton swab up your
In
nose
it
and
was
make
so
you cry.
uncomfortable. Like it was so
It was
bad.
so bad.
And like when I did it, when I got COVID, my parents were like, "Oh, you got it. Like you gotta go in your room. You can miss a whole week of class." Like I'm like, bruh. Like I knew I was gonna get it because I was with all my friends now.
Yeah.
Like it just makes sense. Like maybe I wasn't practicing like social distancing, but we're in school. Like what do you expect? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or like I don't know how it was for you guys, but like all of our dances were like outside.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh,
So it was, like,
those were terrible.
It was so like it's so funny to watch the videos, because it's like when you're in like an enclosed building, it's like everyone's kind of forced to be close together. But then you were like outside in this giant quad, and you have this tiny little circle.
You got the tiny little circle going, and everyone's on the outskirts. What are you doing?
Yeah.
For hours from like my homecoming my freshman year, it was inside. But I remember like we all had nice dresses, like cute little dresses, and we wore a mask. Like, oh my god, like everyone was wearing a mask. It was just like so weird. Like, and then like some people would take it down, and then like I would get like mask fished again. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was just no. My dance was inside though, and like probably would get
Yeah.
more people sick too. But
I
So
wish
nice.
ours was inside, but I got sick with COVID in January. I got sick with a cold. It was just a cold coming back from winter break, and then my brother got sick. And then so we were just coming back to school, and I was just coming back to basketball. My coach was like, "Wow, I haven't seen you in 2 months." I was like, "Yeah, my bad." And then literally I remember Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The day after that we came back, and then I get a call from my mom that's, "Hey, your dad has COVID, and I asked the school what we do about it, so you're out for the next week." And so we went home, and then I proceeded to get it next, and then my brother got it, and then my mom got it. So I was out of school for over a month.
think?
Because
everyone had it.
I got a cold, and then they were like, oh, your relative has it, you're out.
Yeah.
And then I was feeling perfectly fine. I was asymptomatic, and I still tested positive at the end. I was like, I missed a huge test. I never made it up. My teacher was like, you have an A. I don't care. I missed the rest of my basketball season. It just wasn't a thing for me anymore. I think I missed the first week of February too, like all of January into February. It was crazy. And there was a lot of events that go on during that time. There was the winter dance. I didn't even know that we had one because I was out sick.
I got it twice, like in high school. But I feel like it's true. Like every time you get it, it gets like better.
Yeah.
The first time I had it like when the first wave came through. It's like middle school, and it was like terrible. Like thought I was dying, and then like each time it got a little better, and by like the third time I had it, it was like I had no symptoms. I felt perfectly fine, and then like compared to the first one, it was really bad. I don't know. Do you guys ever lose your taste when you got it?
When I got it, I did lose my taste. I was like, oh my god, like it's real. Like I don't know.
It was so crazy, and my taste was gone for like a month, and like it was so weird because when you have no taste, like they say like what your other senses like are stronger or something. So like the textures of food were like so much stronger. That's all that like my mouth like could recognize was the textures. It couldn't recognize the taste. And so like there were some foods I loved that I like could not, because for some reason like pancakes with no flavor are so gross. They're just like weirdly spongy, and I just couldn't eat that. So I tried like a soup, but it tastes like nothing. Like it made me think how much water has a taste, because drinking that soup with no taste, like Jenny was like nothing, and I was like, it was so weird. And so like there was so many like I had to like try new foods because I was like not even the flavor, but for the textures. Like I was genuinely just eating for the textures, because I was like everything like felt weird. I can't say it tasted weird, but it like felt weird. So I even tried that like burnt orange thing where you like it was so disgusting, even though it had no taste. Like sour things, you could like, I don't know how to explain it, like you could just like feel the sourness is I guess what it was. Like you can't taste that it's sour, but like it definitely like hurt my tongue, and it like tasted sour, I guess, in a sense. But like it didn't even bring my taste back, and it was so gross.
That's terrible.
I think when I first got COVID, I remember my brother had this event coming up, and so my mom called me because she like picked me up from school. We did the testing, and then she dropped me off at home with some like wonton soup or something. And I was sitting on the couch just eating my food, and she calls me and she says, Ava, your test came back positive. Go upstairs right now. And I said, what do you mean? You're like banishing me upstairs? And she said, yes, I am. And so they came in, and then for like 2 weeks or so, we were like syncing up movies. She would like put like a huge jug of water, like a giant bucket like that they use at Bishop's for their cookies. She'd like fill it up with water and leave it at the top of the stairs, and like she'd go back down. She was like, oh, actually your brother's event ended up getting canceled, so that was kind of all for nothing. And I was so upset. I was like, no way. And so it was a lot.
Yeah, I feel like COVID really was a crazy time for all of us.
But it's memorable.
It was
It's
memorable.
funny. It's like crazy. It's like so much like big transitions happening in like the span of 2-3 years.
Exactly.
And I feel like it was like when without COVID alone, it's already big transitions for people. Like going from like middle school to high school, there's like a lot that happens, and I think you change a lot as a person. And then so for that to get thrown on us too, I feel like changed us so much more.
Yeah, some of our biggest milestones in childhood were really just covered with COVID, which is so crazy to me. But I think that brings us to the end of our podcast today. Thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast, 4Chicks No Script. Thank you so much, and have a great night.
If you are interested in a career in sports broadcasting,
whether you're commentating a live game
or hosting your own TV show,
for more information, contact Greg Poff. That's me at solano.edu.
we hope to see you here next semester. And remember,
it's more than just sports, it's an education.